Hey guys, today we're going to talk about how to fight cancer with intermittent fasting. Cancer is very, very scary, and it's always better to try to prevent it than to wait till you get it and then try to backtrack. Cancer in certain countries is the #2 cause of death. Okay, so the statistics aren't too good. So the odds are not in your favor. The chances of getting cancer are pretty high. Now, I found this very interesting article. I put a link down below. The contribution of chemotherapy. So when you do chemotherapy, your 5-year survival in adults is only 2.1%. That's like insignificant. Well, radiation has a carcinogenic effect. It can trigger more cancer and create mutations. Now, let's look at a normal cell and a cancer cell and the differences. So in a normal cell, you have something called apoptosis. Apoptosis is where the cell commits suicide. Okay, so it has certain programs. If the cell is damaged, it kills itself. And that protects you because anytime you have an alteration in genes, it can create a bad effect. So apoptosis is a really good thing to keep the body in check and preventing alterations in genetics from things that are carcinogenic, okay? Now, with a cancer cell, you lose this apoptosis effect. Cancer cells just don't die. They keep living and they take over. In other words, if there's certain mutation or alteration in the cell, your body is not able to clean that up and get rid of that. So the cells just take over and they start multiplying rapidly. What happens with cancer cells is you first get a damage within the mitochondria, okay, through some type of trigger, some type of carcinogen, whether it's smoking, radiation, viruses, chemicals, poisons, and the list goes on and on. And then as a way of adapting to this damage, your mitochondria alters its metabolism. It starts to shift to something called fermentation, okay? It's a different ancient metabolic pathway. And that's a key difference between a normal cell and a cancer cell. It basically ferments glucose, okay? So cancer lives on glucose and it can live on glutamine, which is an amino acid, which I'll get to in a second. If you do a PET scan to look for cancer, what you're looking at is you're looking for areas of your body that are eating a lot of sugar. So cancer cells basically are sugar addicts. Now, it would make sense to say, well, I'm just going to go on a ketogenic plan. That should be enough, right? I'll just cut down my carbs. I'll be fine. But what about this other food for cancer cells, glutamine? The problem with glutamine, it's in almost all foods. So it's really, really hard to avoid, okay? So yes, ketogenic diet can help you with cancer, but what about this? Well, this is why I recommend doing fasting or intermittent fasting. Some very interesting things happen when you fast. You have this genetic shift, okay, in certain genes that starts causing this protection effect and repair effect. So let me cover the things that can happen when you fast. You get a decrease in oxidative damage. In other words, there's less free radical damage occurring when you fast. Your body can protect against that. It can resist that type of stress. You also get more protection with the DNA, and you have less DNA damage. And then there are also enzymes that help you detoxify the carcinogens itself. There have been numerous studies to show that fasting helps shrink tumors, okay? And also improve something called angiogenesis, which is basically creating new blood vessels for the tumor itself. Fasting decreases inflammation. And what's unique about this is that cancer cells seem to follow and spread in areas of inflammation, like old injuries and trauma. So let's say, for example, you go on chemotherapy, okay, and you do fasting at the same time. Fasting can help protect the healthy cells against the chemotherapy. So you have less nauseousness, less hair loss, less digestive problems like diarrhea, vomiting, etc. And the really cool thing is you are actually starving the cancer cell of both glutamine to a certain degree when you're not eating and glucose at the same time, okay? Because it's only the normal cells that can live on ketones, not the cancer cells. So why wouldn't someone with cancer or that wants to prevent cancer not do fasting and the ketogenic diet? I have no idea. And one last thing, I interviewed Dr. Seyfried, which you've got to check out this interview. This guy is an excellent researcher, that's been researching cancer for decades. And one thing he mentions that if you even do a yearly fast of 7 days, you can greatly reduce your risk of cancer. I recommend doing periodic prolonged fasting and regular intermittent fasting, okay? And I'll put some links down below for that. So whether you want to prevent cancer or you have cancer and you want to do something about it, definitely start doing this immediately. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, real quick, I have a new healthy keto eating plan for you. Just go to drberg.com. It's right on the front page. I put a link down below. Download it. It's free. Check it out.